What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Record Store Day 2021 brought us a special 40th anniversary edition of Wipers' Youth of America, their second full album that they put out. It's an awesome one, a classic that you have to have if you're a punk fan, but this one truly is special. So let's dig into it. First, you've got this great cover that's got the foil lettering on it, and it is in a gatefold sleeve. There's some great artwork inside with some, again, carrying over that metal foil look to it, which is really nice. That metal foil carries over to the other side with this nice graphic here, and you've got some explanation here on the inner sleeve, really explaining what's going on with these two albums. The first one is essentially just the album itself from the original release. The second album is where all the magic is in this release. I'm not usually a huge fan of some of the alternative takes, especially when they're trying to push it and make it something special when it's not. This is truly, truly special. You've got a lot of different mixes going on, and it's a lot harsher or a lot more raw in terms of what you're hearing on this second album. It just sounds awesome. There's also a couple of releases that are not on some of their prior albums. For example, Scared Stiff was actually recorded for this album, but it never made it to the final cut because it just didn't sound right in terms of the vibe of the album. It just wasn't dark enough, essentially. My Vengeance and The Story are actually not on the album either from the original release. It was actually from a sampler they put out that was completely separate. Well, they threw it in on this release. Finally, the Youth of America mix on the end of this set is just epic. It's 10 plus minutes of just pure awesome. It's hard to explain unless you've heard it. It's got Youth of America on the front too, on the first album, but it's the one on the second side of the second album that is really magical. I'm not kidding, I must have listened to it like 5 times in a row when I first got it. In addition to the great music that you get in this album, you get this really sweet alternative cover. So this was a rejected cover, essentially, that was from the first album. I kind of get why they rejected it. It looks kind of goofy and cartoonish. It's interesting because it kind of makes you think of, is this real in the terms of kind of that flow of design. Now that one is not cartoonish necessarily, but it is very colorful and more geometric in style, but they obviously went away from this. This actually reminds me of something you might see on a Green Day album or something. Jackpot Records did a great job here on this pressing. It is black and clear, kind of a translucent look to it, so it looks really slick on the turntable. It sounds great. I don't have any issues on mine. It is very high quality for both of the albums. The only thing that I noticed that was a little bit of an annoyance, I guess, was because of the black and clear and the translucence of it, it's hard to tell when it's dirty or it has smudges. So it's a little bit more difficult to keep clean. That's kind of a simple gripe, but other than that, I think they did a great job. There's not really much going on with the center circle. It's a very simple design. You see the Jackpot logo, you see the wipers, and you see the listing of the songs there. As you can see as it's spinning here, it looks good and sounds great. As I mentioned, this is a special edition from RSD 2021. There are only 3,000 copies. That being said, I have seen them in several places, so it's pretty easy to get a hold of one if you are a fan of wipers. I have seen them at my local record store, Discogs, and eBay, so you can certainly find one if you're interested. And if you are a Wipers fan, I say this is a must-have, even if you have the original, because of those special takes. It is really good and it is worth the buy. If you have this one, tell us what you think about it. Cheers.